What if I was to offer you 1 billion million gazillion 500,000 TikTok universes right now? Would you take it? And this right here is exactly what Saudi Arabia have been doing to every single company on the face of the earth right now, including the WWE, and this has to stop. Now, I have no beef with Saudi Arabia as a country, but what they are doing to these sports is not very, very good. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the curse that Saudi Arabia has put on the WWE over the years. I mean, it is crazy to see some of the matches that have managed to get through in Saudi Arabia, some of the rivalries, just all of that. Saudi Arabia is crazy when it comes to WWE. So let's take a look at everything wrong with the WWE in Saudi Arabia. All right, let's first take a look back together at Crown Jewel of 2021. Now, I feel like this was one of the first Saudi pay-per-views back after COVID. And man, were we treated to an amazing match card. We had Zelina Vega versus Doudrop for the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Zelina Vega versus Doudrop. Do you know how crazy of a match that is? Another match we were treated to that same night is Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali. Now, I know both of those guys have some sort of Asian heritage. Not sure if either of them are from Saudi Arabia, but nonetheless, that was a pay-per-view match we had. Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali. I genuinely didn't even know this match existed. Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Okay, wait, no, that was the Hurt Business. But no, to see Cedric Alexander in a pay-per-view card is crazy to me. Of course, yeah, the Usos won that match. Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley. This match card has gone from bad to worse. Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. I mean, I will say I was actually quite invested in their feud, but this is not doing this match card any justice whatsoever. Xavier Woods versus Finn Balor in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. Immediately, that's not a terrible match until you hear that Xavier Woods won that match. If Finn Balor were to win that match and become King of the Ring, that could have been a decent situation. But we had Xavier versus Finn, which already they were pretty much just two mid card superstars at that time. And then for Xavier Woods to walk out on top is insane. And then a match we saw many times, Big E versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Big E retaining. Now, yeah, that absolutely was a 3 out of 10 in strength for that match card, but maybe we might get better. Hey, I might be being harsh. Let's check out some of the other Saudi Arabia pay-per-views to see if any of them have better match cards. All right, let's take it back to Crown Jewel of 2018. Let's see what this match card had in store for us. Okay, I've just seen the most crazy thing ever. Dolph Ziggler had 3 matches that night. 3 matches against 3 insane opponents. We got first off in the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken, of, I don't even know what tournament that is, the Crown Jewel tournament. In the first match, Dolph Ziggler versus Kurt Angle with Drew. Okay, so Drew McIntyre was on Dolph Ziggler's side at this point. Makes sense why he was able to win so many of these matches. And then we had Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins that same night. And then finally in the finals, Shane McMahon versus Dolph Ziggler. And after all of that, Shane McMahon defeated Dolph Ziggler in the finals. So Dolph Ziggler went on to win 3 matches that night. Well, 2 matches and being 3 matches just to lose to Shane McMahon. Pretty sure he was like the GM at this point as well. Wow. That's crazy. Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus Kane and The Undertaker. On paper, greatest match of all time. On paper, book that match a million times. On paper, I would pay £1,000 to see that match. In actuality though, we are talking about 4 superstars who aren't even past their prime. They are way past their prime. Their prime is not even in sight anymore. But of course, that Saudi Arabian money speaks. And of course, these 2 teams had to come back for a match that was way past their retirement. If that match were to happen 20 years ago, which it probably did at some point, that would have been one of the best pay-per-view matches of all time. But to happen in 2018, to happen in Saudi Arabia, and to happen at a point in their careers where none of them were really ready for a match whatsoever, it really left all of their careers on maybe the worst note. And I think it's probably the worst thing any of them could have done for their career. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE title. The good thing is that is a fire pay-per-view match. That pay-per-view match goes absolutely crazy. Again, the bad thing, Samoa Joe didn't win the WWE title. Samoa Joe has so many shots at the Universal and WWE title, but for some reason, he could just not get it done. And honestly, I might even attribute that to the Saudi Arabia curse as well. Something about that Saudi air just makes the wrong champions retain. And I think that night, Samoa Joe absolutely could have and should have won that title. You know what? Let's take it more modern in Crown Jewel of 2024. Maybe they've got some great matches for us. No way this match happened. Say sweat on everything. On everything. I watch like most wrestling fans, I watch every single one of these WWE pay-per-views. And I'm talking, I do not miss a second of the action. If I go to the toilet, I'm pausing that. And this match right here, it's not even that I don't recall it. I don't even recall any of these even having a title match whatsoever. We had Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, part of the metaphor, versus Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Damage Control versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who was the champions at the time. I think what's throwing me off is I do not for the life of me remember Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson having a title match at a pay-per-view. That's crazy. Could we maybe say that's also part of the Saudi Arabia curse? Lash Legend getting a match on a WWE pay-per-view? Yeah, add that to the list. Add that to the list immediately. Oh, and then we had LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship. Now, I feel like the funny part about this match is that Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, I think they had like a best of 7. They were wrestling every single week on SmackDown. They had so much hype, so much momentum going into this United States title match just for LA Knight to beat them both and retain. Like, that's so funny. What have I just seen? What have I just seen? Let me read you out a list of some superstars. R-Truth, Sunil Singh, don't really know who that is. I'm pretty sure that was like Jinder Mahal's little sidekick. Humberto Carrillo, Kane Velasquez, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Mansoor, Cesaro, Samir Singh, Humberto Carrillo, Lacey Evans, Shorty G. That is just a few of the superstars that ran the 2019 Crown Jewel match card. Let's take a look at some of these matches. This is a pay-per-view where if you was asked, make the most mid-card, no, not even mid-card, take every single jobber on the 2019 roster and throw them in a match. Throw them in a 6v6 match. Yeah, the craziest part is these superstars that I'm listing off, not only were they on this card, these superstars were challenging for titles. These superstars were main eventing. Let's take a look through some of these matches individually. First up, we had R-Truth versus Sunil Singh for the 24/7 title. Okay, sure, R-Truth wins. Great. Then we have Humberto Carrillo winning a 20-man battle royale for the US title. Humberto Carrillo, out of anyone, to challenge for a US title on a pay-per-view is an insane decision. And let's just talk about some of the contenders in this match, by the way. Tony Nese, Akira Tozawa, Apollo Crews, Buddy Murphy, Drake Maverick, Titus O'Neil. I'm not even going to go through them. The list goes on, but it is basically every single jobber in the company that's ever existed was in that battle royale match. And then we have Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman versus Kane. I don't even know how you say that. Kane Velasquez with Rey Mysterio for the WWE title. We have Brock Lesnar, who was a major part-timer at this point anyway, against someone who I'm convinced doesn't even know what the WWE is, for the WWE title in Saudi Arabia. There's no more to be said on that match. Mansoor versus Cesaro. On a reel, if you were to ask me who are two superstars that when they have a match I could not care less about, I would genuinely probably say Mansoor and Cesaro. I don't really care about what people have to say about Cesaro. Cesaro has no appeal. He doesn't have the look. He doesn't have the entrance. Sure, he's a little strong in ring, but he's not particularly interesting to watch. And to add to that match, to add to the Saudi curse again, Mansoor went on to defeat Cesaro. Mansoor defeated Cesaro on a pay-per-view. Again, Samir Singh versus R-Truth for the 24/7 title. Samir Singh defeats R-Truth. AJ Styles versus Humberto Carrillo for the United States Championship. Of course, AJ Styles retains. There was no reason for that match to happen on a pay-per-view. Heck, there's no reason for that match to even happen on a Monday Night Raw. Okay, this is the big one. We have been waiting for this moment forever, and by we, I mean the women of the WWE. The first ever women's title match. No, not even women's title match. The first ever women's match full stop in Saudi Arabia. The women finally bust through. They got their first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia. And I'm so excited to hear what we get. Are we going to get Alexa Bliss? Are we getting Sasha Banks? Are we getting Bayley, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey? No, we're getting Lacey Evans versus Natalya. Lacey Evans versus Natalya. I didn't even know this. This match as well ended in submission. Never in my life have I seen a women's match end in submission. Yeah, let's add that match to our Saudi Arabia curse. That is maybe the most cursed women's match of all time. And that match absolutely did not deserve to be in that high stakes match of the first ever women's match in Saudi ever. And finally, we have Team Hogan versus Team Flair. Let me run you through these teams. Immediately, by the way, I'm looking at these teams. I'm seeing zero chemistry. We have Roman Reigns, Rusev, Ricochet, Ali, aka Mustafa Ali, and Shorty G. I honestly have no idea how that team came about. And Team Flair is certainly not any better. We have Randy Orton. But the top two superstars are great. Roman Reigns, Randy Orton. That's great. Everything beneath that, not so good. Randy Orton, King Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. Again, bear in mind at this point, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Shinsuke, and Corbin are all very much mid-carders. Of course, we have Roman Reigns' team taking the win for Team Hogan. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if I'm being harsh on these Saudi Arabia matches. I don't know if Saudi Arabia plays a part in the quality of these matches, or if it's just a coincidence that they have the worst match cards out of all WWE pay-per-views. You know what? I've got a challenge for you guys. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Saudi Arabia WWE match is. My answer... Alright, I got nothing. Let me know in the comments your guys' favorite match. I think the Saudi Arabia curse is absolutely real in the WWE. I don't think they should go back unless they can fix up their match cards. And yeah, quite frankly, I've got nothing else to say on the topic. So that is all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Comment your favorite Saudi Arabia WWE match of all time. Hit that like, subscribe, whatever I've said. And until next time, peace.